Finish clearing it and get the title. I'll invite you once again then. When Yi hears him, she couldn't control herself and starts to laugh. Not only Yi but all the hunters who have gathered start to laugh at him. Rutgers is confused about what's going on and why everyone is laughing. Suddenly, a soldier comes running to Rutgers and tells him that the legendary title has already been taken. That soldier points at Lin and tells Rutgers that he is the one who took the title. Rutgers gets very angry when he hears that. He was angry because the one he was trying to humiliated him instead. He orders all his soldiers to gather around him. Then he makes a plan on what he is going to do. When a soldier hears Rutgers' plan, he gets very nervous and asks if they are really going to do this because this is Shengxia's territory, and the majority of the professionals here right now are part of Shengxia. If anything happens, it might be really dangerous for them. Rutgers tells them not to worry, they just have to be discreet about it. He looks at Lin and Yi and, while laughing, says, "Even if they die, others will only assume that they died inside the dungeon." While Rutgers and his party are making their super plan, which is going to be a flop, Lin goes to Yi and tells her not to care about them and to continue dungeon clearing. Yi agrees with him, and both of them enter the Dragon Post dungeon. When both of them enter the dungeon, Rutgers starts what he planned before. He immediately takes out a dungeon tracking scroll and uses it on Lin. This dungeon tracking scroll can track people who have entered a dungeon. After tracking Lin's dungeon, Rutgers also enters the dungeon with all his soldiers. When people see him entering the dungeon with his full party, they get suspicious. Didn't Rutgers say he'll solo clear? So why is he bringing his whole party in? A guy also noticed that Rutgers used a scroll just now. While Lin and Yi were clearing the Dragon Frontline Post dungeon, suddenly Rutgers and his soldiers also appear there. Rutgers smiles like a psycho and says, "You didn't expect us to find you, did you?" He takes out a teleportation sealing scroll and says, "Lin, I heard that you solo cleared this dungeon and took away the title. Then I guess I don't have a choice left. If you don't die, I won't be able to get the title." He activates the teleportation sealing scroll and seals the dungeon. Yi informs Lin that Rutgers is using a teleportation sealing scroll, and their escape talisman doesn't work anymore. Rutgers, with an arrogant tone, asks, "Are you despairing now? Are you scared? Terrified?" He says this is the price for angering the Vatican of ancient Rome. He looks at Yi and says, "Don't fret, beautiful lady. I will not kill you so easily. I have a feeling that you'll make a wonderful story." Yi doesn't like him a bit, but now she hates him to the core. Rutgers thought he won the game and can now get both the title and the waifu. But he underestimated our main character too much. When Lin hears all his trash talk, he starts to laugh at Rutgers. When Rutgers sees Lin laughing in this situation where he is about to die, he gets confused. He couldn't understand how Lin can laugh at this moment. He asks Lin what he is laughing at. Lin summons his Thanatos scythe and calls back all the skeleton soldiers that were clearing the dungeon. He says if he can't teleport out of here because of the scroll, that means Rutgers also can't leave, right? Suddenly, loud roars come from Lin's back, which scares Rutgers and his soldiers. Rutgers sees hundreds of skeleton soldiers coming their way. The whole skeleton army stops right behind Lin. Then Lin starts to walk towards Rutgers. He says, "Know your enemy and know yourself. Then you need not fear the result of 100 battles." Lin tells Rutgers, "You came walking to death on your own 2 feet because you don't know my profession and skills." Rutgers was a little scared after seeing Lin's skeleton army, but he thought that with his legendary profession, he could easily destroy those skeletons. He says, "Lin, do you want to kill me with those shabby skeletons? I am someone who has the legendary profession, a Vulcan warrior." To intimidate Lin, Rutgers immediately uses his skill Vulcan Body. Rutgers' blonde hair turns red, and the golden armor he was wearing gets upgraded to black armor. Fire is flowing underneath his feet as if he is controlling them. A long sword made of fire appears in his hand. He shouts, "Lin, look. This is my skill Vulcan Body." In this state, all his attributes and skill attack power are increased by 3 times, his damage taken is reduced by 300%, and he is immune to all control skills. He arrogantly announces that there is no one stronger than him. Just as Lin expected from a legendary profession, those skill effects are indeed quite strong. But Lin doesn't care about any of that. He says, "Rutgers, I accept you became somewhat strong, but your party members don't have the same skill, do they?" Lin uses his slow curse on them. It does not work on Rutgers because his skill makes him immune to all control skills, but his soldiers don't have anything like that, and they all get tied by curse chains. Immediately after Lin used the slow curse skill, all the skeleton warriors charge at Rutgers' soldiers. Rutgers was surprised by the slow curse, and all his soldiers start to panic when they see the skeleton soldiers coming their way. When Rutgers realizes that it's a curse, he tells support to quickly undo it. Rutgers tries to stop the skeleton warriors from reaching his soldiers and buy them some time. But when he attacks a skeleton warrior with his long sword, the skeleton warriors easily stop his sword. Rutgers is too shocked, thinking, how are these skeletons so strong? While Rutgers was struggling to defeat a single skeleton warrior, all the other skeleton warriors reach Rutgers' soldiers. When a tank comes forward to defend his teammates with a shield, the skeleton warriors easily destroy his shield, cutting him down. The skeleton warrior uses Raise Strike and attacks, sending that soldier flying. Other soldiers get scared when they see the skeleton warrior's strength. They all realize that it's over, and they are going to die by Lin's skeleton soldiers. When Rutgers, who was still struggling to defeat a skeleton warrior, saw that the other skeleton warriors have reached his soldiers, he decided to go and help them. But it was already too late, and before he could even move, all his soldiers met the Death Reaper in front of the skeleton warriors. After they all died, Lin looks at Rutgers and says, "There's only a stupid fool left. How convenient." Rutgers was very angry at Lin for killing all his soldiers. He shouted, "I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you." Lin said, "Rutgers, you've come at the right time because I was looking for a place to try out my new skill." Lin raised his Thanatos scythe and used the evocation skill. When he used the skill, all the surroundings got covered by green flame and the soul of the boss monster, Dragon Guardian, came out. Lin said, "Rutgers, didn't you say you were going to solo clear hell difficulty? So now, try fighting the boss alone." When Rutgers saw the Dragon Guardian in front, he started to shake in fear. The Dragon Guardian was 10 times bigger than Rutgers. Rutgers could not understand how Lin summoned the hell-level boss monster. He asked Lin how it was possible for him to summon the hell difficulty boss. However, the Dragon Guardian was not there for him to interrogate. Without giving Rutgers a chance to prepare, the Dragon Guardian attacked him with its long sword. Rutgers tried to defend using his fire sword and Vulcan body. But the Dragon Guardian's attack was so strong that Rutgers could not even last a second and went flying. With a solid impact, he hit a giant rock that also cracked in half. Rutgers' hair and armor changed back to normal because the Vulcan body he was so proud of was destroyed in one hit. At that moment, Rutgers realized the strength of the boss in hell difficulty. He was seriously injured and was out of mana and stamina. Now, he was unable to escape, and in front of him was the Dragon Guardian, which raised its sword again to attack. Seeing that Rutgers was scared to death, as a last resort, he tried to scare Lin using his background. He yelled, "Lin, you can't kill me. I am the Holy Son of God. If you kill me, you will die." But Lin didn't give a damn about Rutgers' background. He looked at Rutgers with his cold-blooded eyes, and at that moment, Rutgers realized that he had provoked the wrong person. The Dragon Guardian swung its giant sword and killed Rutgers mercilessly. In that attack, only Rutgers' golden armor remained. Seeing Rutgers' end, Yi said, "I didn't expect that an asshole like him, who only looks down on other people, would know how to beg for his life in the face of death." Yi asked Lin if he was afraid, since Rutgers and all his soldiers were from the Vatican of ancient Rome. Lin replied with one word, "No." Hearing that from him, Yi smiled and said, "No matter what happens, I'll stay by your side, Lin." She asked Lin about the Vulcan set equipment and what they should do with it. Lin told her to keep it for now and continue clearing the dungeon. They continued the dungeon raid. On the other side, at ancient Rome's Vatican headquarters, a bright light shone in the sky, indicating that Rutgers was killed. All the Vatican members started panicking upon seeing that light. A junior priest told others to quickly inform the Pope. At the same time, at Shenxia Academy, Old Ning went to meet Bai Shen and Meng Anwen, who were having tea. When Bai Shen saw the angry Old Ning approaching them, Bai Shen said, "What a rare sight to see you here, Old Ning. But what's with that expression? Did someone anger you?" Old Ning sat on the empty chair and angrily asked Bai Shen why he gave his granddaughter a task at the Yuan battlefield. Bai Shen told him that all this is nonsense. Lin Moyu is a sensible and outstanding individual. Why would he go around flirting? Hearing that, Old Ning calmed down a little and, while drinking tea, asked Bai Shen if Lin could be trusted. because Lin claimed that he could bring Yi Yi to clear the hell difficulty. Bai Shen told him to